have come to the lake shore, looking neither for wealthy nor wise ones. You only asked me to follow humbly. Oh Lord, with your eyes you have searched me, and while smiling have spoken my name. Now my boat's left on the shoreline behind me. By your side, I will seek other seas. You know so well my possessions, my book carries no gold and no weapons. You will find they never labor. Oh Lord, with your eyes you have searched me, and while smiling have spoken my name. Now my boat's left on the shoreline behind me. By your side, I will seek other seas.
Good morning and welcome to worship today with First United Methodist Church of Jessup, Iowa. I am Pastor Alex Bruning, and I'm so glad that you can join us on our YouTube channel today. Today is Sunday, June 28th, and with the help of Dr. Robert Williamson Jr., we will be taking a second look at the book of Ruth this week as we continue in our 5 forgotten books of the Bible. I hope that you were able to watch our Woman Wednesday this past week. It was a link that was emailed out and shared on our Facebook page. Also, this coming week, we will have our Thursday Thoughts as we will be jumping into yet another forgotten book of the Bible. I believe it's Lamentations that we'll be jumping into this week. And I'm excited to be able to share some lectures with you from Dr. Robert Williamson Jr. himself. So make sure you check those out on our Facebook pages and emailed out in our weekly roundup email. I encourage you to greet one another this morning. If you are in your own household, greet the people worshiping with you. Comment a greeting down below or send a text to a friend to tell them good morning and tell them how much you miss worshiping with them in person, because I know I miss worshiping with all of you in person today. I especially miss seeing your bright and smiling faces in the pews, or your sleeping faces, depending.
James.
But welcome to worship today. I am very excited for us to sing again this week, Gather Us In. For no matter where we're at, God is gathering us in together into God's presence. Let us sing, Gather Us In.
Streaming, now is the darkness vanished away. See in this space our fears and our dreamings, brought here to you in the light of this day. Gather us in, the lost and forsaken, Gather us in the blind and the lame. Call to us now, and we shall awaken. We shall arise at the sound of your name. We are the young, our lives are a mystery. We are the old who yearn for your face. We are sung throughout all of history, called to be light to the whole human race. Gather us in the lost and the haughty. Gather us in the proud and the strong. Give us a heart so meek and so lowly. Give us the courage to enter the song. Here we will take the wine and the water. Here we will take the bread of new birth. Here we shall call your sons and your daughters. Call us anew to be salt for the earth. Give us to drink the wine of compassion. Give us to eat the bread that is you. Nourish us well and teach us to fashion lives that are holy and hearts that are true. Not in the dark of buildings confining, not in some heaven light years away, but here in this place the new light is shining. Now is the kingdom, now is the day. Gather us in and hold us forever. Gather us in and make us your own. Gather us in, all peoples together. Fire of love in our flesh and our bone.
Join with me in our responsive call to worship today. Called to be of one mind.
We have a wide array of ideas.
Called to be united.
We are more comfortable with our own kind.
Called to be in agreement.
We still we cherish our right to dissent.
Creating God, remind us again that our diversity of body, mind, and spirit is a pale reflection of your expansive spirit.
Enable us to embrace our diversity, not to divide, but rather to draw us closer to you, to one another.
Amen. Let us sing, Draw the Circle Wide.
Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw. The circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. The circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide.
Now is the time in our worship where we are able to join together as a family of God to rejoice with one another and to weep with one another. In your weekly roundup email, you should have received some names on our prayer corner and or in your printed at-home worship that you received in the mail. A few names that I want to make sure and lift up today: Sparky DeRoe, Marion Fitzer, John Hartman, Cliff and Kathy Johnston, Wayne Lynch, Thelma Oberbrockling, Joanne Pint, Robin Smith, Roger Sweeter, Sarah Stabell, George T. Meyer, Lee and Jane Triplett are all in our prayer corner this week. As a joy, I want to share news from Mary Steuben. Mary writes, "We are delighted to announce the safe arrival of our twins, born to our daughter, Hannah, and her husband, Scott, of Seattle, Washington. Miles Thomas Johnson, 5 pounds, 11 ounces, and Margot May Johnson, 6 pounds, 11 ounces, were born Monday, June 22nd. Margot entered the world 2 minutes earlier than her brother. Everyone is doing well. Congratulations to Mary and Dave, as well as daughter, and as well as Hannah and her husband Scott, daughter and son-in-law in Seattle, on the addition of Mary and Dave's new grandchildren, twins. You are doing very well. I invite you to comment other joys or concerns down below, or to text them to a friend. I also invite you to send any names you might have to us at the church so we can add them to our prayer corner list as well. So please take the time to do that, and also make sure that you take the time to pray for each of these people during the week as you offer your daily prayers to the Lord. Now is the time in our service where we are able to share where we saw God in our lives over the past week. So I invite you to share your stories down below in the comments, or to text a friend, or to tell the person sitting next to you where you saw God in your life this week.
I'm gonna share, I guess?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I saw God in arriving home after a wonderful vacation, and all the comforts that God has provided in our home, but also all the changes that occurred while we've gone. We have the garden, and just seeing the growth. Thank you, Andrew Devlin, and whoever assisted you. Yeah, and I guess seeing that things were still the same, but also seeing that things kept growing even though we weren't here, and God provided the growth and the weeds.
Yes, one of our children is out of bed. Where did I see God this week? Or where do I want to share, I guess? Because I have seen God so many places this week. I think for me, the place that I saw God the most was in Brian and I getting to focus on our relationship with each other. My parents watched our kids part of the time we were gone, and Grandma Lisa watched our children for a little bit when we were gone, and so Brian and I were able to spend one-on-one time with each other, which we haven't gotten to do in a very long time. So that was wonderful to get to work on that relationship that God has placed in our lives, and to see God in that relationship and in each other. So I encourage you to make sure you work on your marriage as well. Marriage is something that takes work every day. And if you need someone to watch your children for a little bit so that you and your spouse can work on reconnecting with each other, you reach out to me. I love your kids, and I would love to watch them. So make sure you comment your seeing Gods down below. I invite us into a time of silent prayer. Then I will lead us in a prayer, and then we'll join together with the Lord's Prayer. Let us pray. God of all creation, we who called every being into life, who is mindful of humankind in all its diversity, who embodies us with dignity, granting different gifts and talents to shape life in this world, we ask for your Spirit to unite us, where we face lack of understanding and disunity in our churches, in our communities, in our countries. And in silence, we lay before you the burdens of our hearts. We ask for your Spirit to unite us in the face of the conflicts, hatred, and violation of life experienced in so many regions of the earth. And in silence, we bring to you the pain of the victims. We ask your Spirit to unite us wherever fear prevents us from caring for our neighbor, from meeting people of different ethnicities, cultures, and faith communities with respect. And in silence, we bring to you the brokenness of human relationships. God of all creation, in Christ we are reconciled. And so we ask for your uniting spirit to help us to overcome all our divisions, that we may live in peace. In the name of Christ we pray, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
I want to give a special thank you to Dawn this morning. The song we are about to hear, A Place at the Table, actually the song we're about to sing, Dawn played and recorded for us so that Brian would be able to sing with her. So thank you, Dawn, for always sharing your musical talents with us. Let us sing A Place at the Table.
For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. For woman and man, a place at the table, revising the roles, deciding the share. With wisdom and grace, dividing the power. For women and man, a system that's fair. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. For young and for old, a place at the table, a voice to be heard, a part in the song. The hands of a child and hands that are wrinkled, for young and for old, the right to belong. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Yes, God will light, when we are creators of justice and joy. For just and unjust a place at the table, a busser abused with need to forgive. In anger, in hurt, a mindset of mercy. For just and unjust a new way to live. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. For everyone born a place at the table, to live without fear and simply to be. To work and to speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone born the right to be free. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Thank you, Dawn. That was beautiful. Beautiful.
Our scriptures today come from the book of Ruth. In chapter 1 and in chapter 3, we're going to read a couple of short excerpts this morning. And this week I remembered to mark my Bible because Ruth is so short and hard to find. So we're going to start in chapter 1, verse 14 today. And what we're reading here is after Naomi has told Ruth and Orpah that she is going to go back to her home and that she expects Ruth and Orpah to go back to their mother's homes because she has nothing to offer them. She has no sons. She has no way of supporting them. And so she has told them, I am going back to Bethlehem and you need to go back to your mother's. So here, they both have said no, and Naomi has pleaded with them again and said, no, you must. And so that's where we're picking it up. Then they wept aloud again. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. So she said, see, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law. But Ruth said, do not press me to leave you or to turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die. There will I be buried. May the Lord do thus and so to me, and more as well, if even death parts me from you." When Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, Naomi said no more to her. Now we're going to jump ahead, and we're going to go to chapter 3 in Ruth. Now here, Ruth has gone out and gleaned in the field of Boaz, who we find out is a relative of Elimelech, of Naomi's husband's family. And so Naomi is about to hatch a plan to find some security for Ruth. Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to Ruth, "My daughter, I need to seek some security for you so that it may be well with you. Now here in our kinsman Boaz, with whose young women have been working. See, he is winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor. Now wash and anoint yourself, and put on your best clothes, and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, observe the place where he lies. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. And he will tell you what to do." She said to her, "All that you tell me, I will do." The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
So this text here has me thinking a great deal about my marriage. So this text in chapter 1 that we're reading is actually very commonly read at weddings. It's a wonderful pledge to be united, right? Ruth is saying, "I give it all up to be totally committed to you, Naomi. I'm going to follow you wherever you go. Your people are my people. Your God is my God. Nothing, not even death, is going to part us." I mean, that is a beautiful speech. So I've been thinking a lot about Ruth saying, "I give it all up for you." And in particular, I've been thinking about my last name. So my last name is Bruning, as some of you know, and few of you know how to pronounce. No. But before I was married, my maiden name was Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. So when we first got appointed to Jessup, I loved that its slogan was "the right place," because we always had all kinds of jokes growing up about how my mother was always right, W-R-I-G-H-T, and my father was never right. And I married Brian 8 years ago and changed my last name. I didn't give it too much thought other than practicing my signature, because you have to sign your marriage license with your new name. And I'm not very good at cursive, so I had to practice a lot. It's still a terrible signature. But otherwise, I didn't give it a lot of thought. And then I changed my name. And we signed our marriage license, and I did my passport, and did my driver's license, and went and did my social security card, which I actually did after we moved to Kansas even. And what I didn't realize at the time that I was doing all this was how much identity was in my name. I had always been a Wright. I was always last in roll call. There was only one person who ever came after me, Stacy Zika. Thank you for making me not the last person at graduation. But I didn't know that it meant so much to me. I didn't know that I would miss it. I didn't know how sad it would make me to look at my master's degree and not have Alex Casey Wright on there. I mean, so much of who I am was tied up in that name. To have that on my college degree was a testament to my family. Was a testament to me saying, not only did I earn this degree, but we earned it. Who you raised me to be, how you raised me, all you have done for me in my life has brought this degree about. And the same with my master's. Yes, I was married and I was living on my own, and we were, quite a ways from my family, but they had helped us all along to get to that point of earning my master's. And same with my ordination certificate, to not have that acknowledgement on there that who I am is a right. If I were to do it over again, I always say I would keep my last name. And when I talk to couples who are getting married, I talk about the pain of giving up that part of my identity because I want them to be aware of it. Brian, my wonderful husband, says that if we were to do it over again, we would hyphenate our names. That we would be Wright Brunings, or maybe Bruning Wrights. I never know
Alphabetical.
which comes first. Brian says alphabetical. And I really think that hyphenation would probably be the best option. Now, I know you're thinking, why are you thinking about this, right? It's 8 years after the fact, and you're giving this a lot of thought. But I was thinking a lot about Ruth, and how Ruth not only gave up her last name, but she gave up everything. Ruth changed her name. She took Naomi's last name, if you will. She gave up everything that was hers and became consumed by that which was Naomi's. Naomi's people, God, food, culture, customs. Ruth gave up everything that was hers and her people's and became consumed, swallowed up by that which was Naomi's. You see, when I gave up my last name, I gave up my identity, and I was consumed by Brian's identity. And if I were to only have kept my name, our identities would never have been intertwined together. Hyphenating would allow us not only to have our own individual identities, but to have them be united together. It would be combining my identity, my culture, my customs as a right with his identity and cultures and customs as a Bruning. That hyphenation in the middle would mean that we could be both our own individual selves and one couple together. And I've been thinking of that when it comes to Ruth. I know how difficult it was for me to change my last name. I cannot begin to imagine the pain and struggles of giving up everything that you have ever been tied to. But you see, in order for Ruth to be considered good and honorable, as she's called in this book, she was expected to give up everything that was hers and fully assimilate into Israelites' culture. No one praised Ruth the Moabite. They praised Ruth, Naomi's daughter-in-law. Unfortunately, things have not changed for migrants, immigrants, and refugees today. We praise them not for who they are, their culture, their history, their identity, but rather we praise them for assimilating with us. We praise them for learning English, for becoming Christians, for fitting in our society. We fully expect them to give up everything that was theirs and to take on everything that is ours. This is not love. This is not acceptance. This is not welcoming. What if instead of giving up her people, her God, her culture, and her customs to go with Naomi, what if Ruth had gone with Naomi and they had hyphenated their last names? What if Ruth and Naomi had both kept their own gods and their own cultures and their own customs? What if Ruth and Naomi had taught each other about their religions and faith? What if they had kept and celebrated both their cultures and their customs? What if Ruth had been allowed to maintain her own identity while joining in a shared life with Naomi? I wonder how much richer our lives would be if we cared to welcome and learn from the cultures and customs of our newest immigrants. How many more joyous holidays would we celebrate together? How much deeper and richer would our understanding of each other be? But beyond that, how much fuller would our immigrant, migrant, and refugee brothers and sisters be able to live if we embraced who they are, their identity, their faith, their culture, their customs, their language? What if we stopped expecting assimilation and started embracing? What if we stopped expecting people to look and live like us and instead started learning and seeing our migrant, immigrant, and refugee brothers and sisters? If I had it to do over, I would hyphenate my last name. Every day, I have the opportunity to do it over with my migrant, immigrant, and refugee brothers and sisters. Every day, I have the opportunity to hyphenate our names. I can ask them about their cultures, their faith, their customs, their language. I can learn from them and encourage and embrace them, not for assimilating, but for embracing who they are and where they come from. I encourage you this week to learn about a migrant, immigrant, or refugee culture. Learn about one of the groups that has a large population in our area, perhaps our Bosnian brothers and sisters. Or learn about a friend's cultures and customs. Perhaps you could learn part of their language, even just a greeting, and greet them with it the next time you see them. Or better yet, learn to say I love you in their language. Perhaps you could learn about a meal, a dessert, a food item from their culture that you could make for them. Give them a taste of their home that they're missing. Reach out to them in an act of love from their background and encourage them to share with you about their culture. Now is our chance to right the wrongs that have been taking place since before the time of Ruth. Now is our chance to stop praising assimilation and loss of identity, and to instead start learning and growing and encouraging our migrant, immigrant, and refugee brothers and sisters to embrace their backgrounds, their identities, to feel welcomed and loved for who they are, not for how well they assimilate. It is time for us to hyphenate our last names, to hyphenate our culture, our country. It is time for us to encourage our migrant and immigrant and refugee brothers and sisters not to give up their last names, but to join with us as who they are in a shared life together. What will be your act of hyphenation this week? I want to thank you for your continued support of First United Methodist Church in Jessup. Without you, we could not continue doing our ministry. We thank you for your auto debits, for the checks and money that you have been sending in and dropping off. And while we don't have that offering physically in front of us right now, let us bless that offering together. Holy God, sometimes we imagine that the whole of our faith is carried out inside the walls of the church. We like the comfort of community, the habit of being together, the rituals that ground us in our faith. Remind us in this time that this is only a part of our worship, that our encounters with people we don't know and often don't notice offer us opportunities to take the love of Christ into the world that needs to hear good news. Remind us that there is no one we will meet who is not loved and claimed by you. And help us to see and listen to those around us with eyes, ears, and hearts of Jesus, as you use these offerings so that all might not only know the love of Jesus, but the value of their life, their experiences, and their voice. Amen. Let us join together in singing, "Bind Us Together."
Bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together with bind us together with love. There is only one God. There is only one King. There is only one body. That is why we sing. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with love.
I'm excited to share with you our Zen Pig book number 2 today. I'm so sorry that we forgot it last week, so we're a little week behind, but that's okay. We'll just get to enjoy them longer. So today's Zen Pig is The Wonder We Are. It's written by Mark Brown and illustrated by Amy Lynn Larwig. Zen Pig, the wonder we are. Granted the gift of the sun's first light, Zen Pig sits with a tree, enjoying the sight. Passers-by stop amidst a morning stroll to curiously ask, what's Zen Pig up to on that green, grassy knoll? One said to the other, I'm not quite sure. The other looked excited and said, let's find out more. Excuse us, Zen Pig. Please tell us what you see, because to us it appears to be just a regular old tree. Ah, Zen Pig said, a small smile on his face. The tree is just the beginning. There's much more to embrace. When I look at this tree, I see every drop of rain, every ray of sunlight, every bird it will sustain. Within a glass of water, there lies a cloud in the sky. Within every piece of toast, a farmer on which it relies. Every plant and every being are all intertwined. The well-being of all we must bear in mind. The whole of nature is more than it appears. We must look closely and keep our minds clear. Then we will see the wonder we are, our great connection, even with the stars. No matter what you see, take the time to look close, and you'll be marveled and amazed by what it will show. Namaste. The light in me loves the light in you. And now it's time for our Zen Pig question. So our Zen Pig question today that I would love for you to answer in the comments, or to text or send an email, or just to talk about amongst yourselves. What is one thing in nature you are grateful for? One thing in nature that I am grateful for. Gosh, there's so much in nature that I love. I think this week, my answer is going to be our pet squirrel. So we don't really have a pet squirrel, but there's a squirrel that has been enjoying my new bird feeder. And this week I caught him or her, the squirrel, lounging. We have a basket that is connected that you put mealworms in. And I caught the squirrel just laying in the basket like its own little sunbathing spot. And it made me smile and it made me laugh. In fact, it made me run across the house to get my phone so I could run back and take a picture. And Coral and I got to enjoy that little bit of nature together. So what in nature are you grateful for? And if you can't think of an answer, then you need to get outside today, because I guarantee you there is a lot in nature to be grateful for. I want to thank you for joining us in worship today. I want to thank you for being a part of our church and our community and our family. Worship has ended, and the service now begins. Go from the place which you are with the courage of Christ to draw the circle wide, to encounter Jesus in the other, to love fiercely, to be courageous in sharing God's good news to all the world, a world that needs to know grace. Go in peace in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. God be with you until we meet again.
Has venido a la orilla, no has buscado ni a sabios ni a ricos, tan solo quieres que yo te siga. Señor, me has mirado a los ojos, sonriendo, has dicho mi nombre. Necesitas mis manos, mi cansancio, que a otro descanse, amor que quiera seguir amando. Señor, me has mirado a los ojos, sonriendo, has dicho mi nombre. Pescador de otros mares, ansia eterna.